Yes, today I want us to discuss about the reasons as to why your building plans may be rejected for approval by the building committee or authorities like the KCCA, City Council Authority, and the like. We all, first of all, need to understand that building plans approval is primarily governed by the Physical Planning Act and the Building Control Act, which has had recent amendments of 2025, the one that caught the attention of the public. Number one, land ownership and legal issues. If you are not able to attach proof of land ownership, such as a land agreement, a land sales agreement, or more so, a registered land title, approval for your building plans may be rejected. They want to be sure that the person that is developing the land is the owner of the land. And also, if you don't attach an introduction letter from your local council and the LC1, an introduction letter, actually the LC1 of the area where the land you want to develop is, you may face rejection. Then also, if there are boundary disputes, usually here we also submit a boundary opening report, especially for land that is within the city councils, town councils, and all that. For surveyed land, you need a boundary opening report from a registered surveyor, and this gives proof that the boundaries are secure and you have no issues. That means if they come to realize that the land upon which you are trying to develop has issues, it has disputes, approval for those building plans could be rejected. Then also we have another issue to do with zoning and land use conflicts. First of all, wrong land use, such as intending to develop a commercial warehouse in a strictly residential zone, you may not be allowed. That's why it's also important to find out the zoning regulations or the building codes for the area where you're developing. There are some places whereby certain projects are not allowed. They are zoned for a specific land use. Say, if it is zoned specifically for residential, we don't expect you to put up an industrial structure in such an area. So that could also cause rejection. You have to understand where I'm developing. Is this so-called land use allowed in this area? Then also, where we have illegal plot creation, or such as land that has been created from existing access roads. We have such issues. People have, closed up certain roads or passages, and maybe public land, public space, and they want to develop it. There, your building plans may be rejected, for public interest. Then also, green belt restrictions, such as trying to develop on, say, protected land or within the specified setbacks from wetlands. So that would also be rejected. And also we have technical and professional failures, such as having building plans that have not been stamped by a registered architect, a registered engineer, a professional. Your drawings have to be prepared and stamped by a registered professional for them to be accepted for approval. So in case your building plans lack this, they may be rejected for approval. Then incomplete documentation. You may find that your project is lacking, say, mechanical and electrical drawings, structural drawings, or any other documents and details. So it may be rejected and may be asked to go and include these. Then also incorrect scales. Because your drawings have to be clear. We also have standards and safety violations. Such as building lines and setbacks. We have set standards. You can check for these ones in the physical planning standards and guidelines and the other standards that have been set. They are given setbacks or offsets from the boundary that you need to start developing. Now, like on the roadside, we have to leave the road reserve and all that. I made a video that previously about setbacks, the advantages, benefits of having these setbacks even from your neighbors. Your neighbor's plot or land. The setbacks that you're expected to leave. You should not just build extremely to the boundary. So, in case they realize that you have not followed these standards, your building plans could also be rejected. And we also have something that is common with Ugandans here: overdevelopment. Having to construct everywhere, you have your plot overcrowded with buildings. We have a set minimum standard for plot coverage when you're developing your land for different land uses, for residential, commercial, and all that. there are a set plot coverage percentages that you have to develop the land. You don't necessarily have to build every and have the entire plot or land crowded. So for that reason, your building plan approval could also be rejected. And we also have dangerous sites such as building on ground that has let's say waste. It has been a dumping site and things of the sort. Has animal carcasses or any matter that is liable to decomposition. Yeah, you may not be allowed to develop on that land, and unless you really convince how you're going to go about it. Yeah, because a structure on such land would not be safe since the ground is liable to decomposition. And we also have a concern about lack of accessibility under the safety standards. We expect all public buildings to have access ramps, to make sure that we have safe accessibility for persons with disabilities and the like. So that will also be looked into. How do they access your building and all that? It will also really matter when it comes to approving your building plans. Then the fifth issue is also to do with environmental and social impact. So things to do with environmental degradation, especially if you have a large project, it will necessitate you to get a National Environmental Management Authority, that is the NEMA certificate, for your building plans to be approved. So in case your project is most likely to degrade the environment, especially like projects in restricted zones and all that, you will need a certificate from NEMA. Yeah, to confirm that it's okay and that whatever precautions that are required have been put in place. Then also nuisance to neighbors. Yeah, if you're developing your building and it is overshadowing your neighbor's plot or your neighbor's structures, like blocking natural light, maybe you've placed windows or balconies in such a way that it interferes with the privacy of your neighbor. Yeah, your building plans can also be rejected. You may be asked to revise them or do something about it because privacy, your neighbor's privacy also matters. And also, if you have unsightly designs, you may have designs that the building committee sees as objections to the public, so they may be rejected. It's not a matter of coming up with any design. Then lastly, we have procedural, or let me call them red tape concerns. These, I mean, maybe if you don't provide proof of unpaid fees, yeah, because if you assessed, you have to pay and of course attach those receipts for building approval and all that. Then also missing important reports, especially let's say for complex buildings, you need a geotechnical report that is to do with the soil, a soil report in a layman's language. You need a hydrological report for such complex projects. This is to it is a report concerning how water goes through your building and also the ground. So you may need this. And just by the way, because my most recent video, I had talked about this as a problem, but then it's just the reality. It's just the reality. This is what is happening on ground. And I was actually urging the National Building Review Board and the other stakeholders to see how they can go about this. And it's one of the biggest challenges because you could have all these requirements and whatever I have talked about, but still be rejected. This is not good at all, but it is really happening on ground. If you are not able, you are not ready to pay some extra fees, the plans may also be rejected. So, yeah, these could be extra fees that are not within the required legal fees. So, you should also be flexible. Sometimes your building plans will be rejected. Usually, some of these officials call it, they call it facilitation and all that. So, if you're not ready to negotiate for this, sometimes your building plans may be rejected for approval. But basically, if you have all that documentation and all those requirements that are previously listed above, yeah, you'll have an upper hand of having your drawings or your building plans and documents approved for your project to commence. Thank you.